We live in a society where people and companies are rated on an everyday basis, and these ratings can make or break you. Now, do I think Unrivaled Basketball cares at all what my rating for them would be? Definitely not, but I'm gonna rate them anyway and see how many stars they get out of 5 by the end of this video. I'll be rating them on 5 different categories, but before we start, if you guys don't know me, my name is Napheesa. I grew up playing about 6 different sports, and I love talking and watching a bunch of different women in sport, so make sure you guys let me know what your favorite teams are, and let's get into it. Unrivaled is the newest 3-on-3 league created by Breanna, Stewart, and Napheesa Collier. The league was created to give another option to these ladies during the off season so they wouldn't have to go and play overseas. Now, playing overseas can be a great opportunity for some, but we've also seen it take a turn for the worse before. And the only reason they had to go overseas to begin with is because the WNBA wasn't paying them enough. Now, as to how much this new Unrivaled League is going to be paying their players compared to the WNBA, we'll get into that later on in the video, but just know that money was a big factor when creating this league. But how exactly did Breanna Stewart and Napheesa go about starting this? So surprisingly, they actually ran the idea by Ally's head of sports and internet marketing first, and she spoke to her people who then were like, let's speak to Kathy first, who was none other than the WNBA's commissioner, which is surprising to me because it's kind of like telling your competitors you're about to create a league. However, I guess they're not really competitors as they've kind of been working in tandem together, and Kathy didn't think it was any competition either, and thus the league was born. Now for this category, I'll give them a full star because I feel the reason the league was created were not only honorable but necessary. Next, I'll be grading the league on how the games are actually played. It is a new league after all, so let's get into these rules. To begin, there are 6 different teams, which each all have 6 players, meaning there are 36 players in total in this league, and players were announced sporadically on Unrivaled's Instagram by utilizing posts that often had their nicknames on it, and then a selection committee was actually the one to decide who would play on which team. So the league is going to run for 8 weeks with 1 extra week for postseason play, with the 4 top teams moving on to playoffs, which will be played in single elimination style. Now, as the league is 3-on-3, I thought they would be playing half court as the Olympics does, but they're actually playing full court, except the court they're using is 70 feet long, which is smaller than a WNBA court, so I guess they're playing full court on a small court. I don't blame them, honestly. If you've ever played 3-on-3 or 5-on-5 compared to like 10 or 11, you know, it is so much more stamina because you are running constantly all the time. Like when I used to play soccer, 3-on-3 was to get you in shape. Now, as to where they are playing, they built their own facility in Miami, Florida with 850 seats, and every single seat is only 33 feet away. Imagine the vibes with that. But not only that, there are also said to be glam rooms and weight rooms in this facility. Another aspect of this league though is that they've decided to stop everything in the middle of this season and host a 1v1 tournament, because why not? But the winner of this tournament is going to receive $250,000. I mean, that's an absurd amount of money, but they're also giving $10,000 to every single teammate of whoever wins. This is ridiculous and I'm obsessed. So I'm giving a full star for this category, no complaints. Next, on to how to watch these games. So games will be played on Monday, Friday, and Saturday, with Monday and Friday games airing on TNT and Saturday games airing on True TV. Lucky for us, all of these games will be prime time. And initially, they were debating on whether to have all the games just on one subscription or to kind of split it up. And they decided to put all the games in one place because, well, the deal wanted that, but also they thought it would be a bit easier to find the games, which I completely respect because I even posted a video last week of games happening in the month of January and how to watch them, and I plan to post them every month because I know sometimes this information isn't easily accessible. However, I do wish there was a bit more variety in how people could watch these games in case they can't afford another subscription because they already subscribed to something else. But for in-person games, this season will only have games played in Miami, but they're saying that next season they're hoping to do kind of a world tour. Okay, not a world tour, more like USA tour, and play in 4 different cities. And I love the concept of this. However, it's been going viral on a thread that Unrivaled has been changing people's seats that they paid money for without telling them, and normally the seats are being changed for the worst. So I'm not sure exactly how reliable it is to buy a ticket to go see these games in person. So because of all of this, I'm not gonna give a star for this category. Now onto the topic that a lot of people care about. So the best part of this league for the athletes is that they are all stakeholders, which means every single player has equity in the league and player shares will fully vest in 4 years. And because they have an equal share, they're more motivated to market this league because the more people that tune in, the more money goes directly into their pockets. And it's estimated that the average salary for players in this league is over $200,000. For reference, Caitlin Clark's rookie salary in the WNBA was around $76,000, while Napheesa Collier's salary was around $214,000, showing one, that there was a huge discrepancy, but second, that none of this is even comparable at all to the average NBA salary, which for last season was $7 million. That speaks for itself, but on the topic of money, Unrivaled has also said that they plan to sell their 6 franchises in the next year or 2 to individuals, creating a new wave of capital. Now for this category, I'll give a full star because it is a huge step towards gender pay equality in sports. However, we clearly still have a long way to go. Lastly, we have the opportunities that Unrivaled Basketball is providing for women as a whole. Players don't have to go overseas anymore. Their facility will have childcare before, during, and immediately after games are played, including a playroom, nursery, and nursing room all on site as well. This league is even having an effect on college women athletes by providing people like Paige Beckers an NIL deal, and Juju Watkins herself is an investor. It also gives fans and young girls more games to watch. For reference, the NBA season has 82 games, while the WNBA season has 40 games, and that's with the extra games that were added recently. Ultimately, it gives us another women's sport league to talk about, so I'm definitely not complaining, and they did earn 4 out of 5 stars today. However, I genuinely am truly excited to watch this league and support it, and it's super cool how many opportunities they're creating for women athletes along with a bunch of young girls to come.